Yeah, our guys are really excited. We've had a good week of preparation so far. Our guys are excited to go play a night game at the University of Tennessee, and expect to play well. So, we'll open up to any questions.
Start with Jimmy Hines of Sports Animal in Knoxville.
James, you've won some games this year.
Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing great, James. How are you?
Good, buddy.
Good. You've won some games this year when you didn't really play your best. What does that say about where your program is right now?
I think it's very important that your team just finds ways to win. 1 week your offense plays well, 1 week your defense plays well, 1 week your special teams plays well. You have all these different ways of finding ways to get wins, and most importantly, the kids have figured that out now over 3 years. They figure out ways to win games, and sometimes it's pretty, sometimes it's ugly, but more often than not, they're wins.
And what makes Jordan Matthews such a special wide receiver?
I think the biggest thing is his determination and his belief in himself. Obviously, he's got some physical skills, his size, his ball skills, his body control, things like that. But I think the biggest thing is his determination and his belief in himself and this program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Patrick Brown of the Chattanooga Times Free Press.
Hey, James, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I was kind of wondering, you coached against Butch Jones a couple of years ago in the Liberty Bowl when he was at Cincinnati. I think it was your first year. I was just kind of wondering, maybe what do you remember about that game and kind of interacting with Butch kind of in some of the bowl week stuff leading up to that game?
Yeah, it was good. I like Butch. I know Butch. I know guys on his staff. I knew guys on his staff at Cincinnati. We got guys here at Vanderbilt that have worked with him and some guys on that staff as well. So, I know the fans, of both teams get all worked up and think there's hate and all that kind of stuff, but there really isn't. There's, I know from our perspective, there's respect towards their staff. There's respect towards their team, the traditions and the history of that place. All those things, and then obviously, being both representing the state of Tennessee, we take a lot of pride in that. And but no, I'm looking forward to seeing Butch before the game and shaking his hand and wishing him good luck and going from there.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next we have Danny Brewer, the Rutherford Reader.
Coach, how we doing today?
Good, Danny. How are you?
Fantastic, Coach. Talk about the Tennessee Vandy. I know every week is a big week in the SEC, but because of the proximity and being in the same state, does it make it maybe a little more special?
This is another game for us. Ole Miss, I think, is probably about the same distance away. It's an SEC game, so it's not really based on that. It's just kind of our approach with everything. We don't even make it any different than if it's an out-of-conference game. We just kind of keep our same approach. Obviously, is there some noise on campus and noise in the community, and is there, people's families and things like that get involved? Yeah, but each week you could find things like that with certain opponents that are gonna start that. Is there a little bit more of that this week? Yeah, I would say so. But internally, as a program, it doesn't change a thing for us. We just stick to our plan and our approach.
Coach, does last year's victory mean anything this year? Because not only did you guys beat them, but you kind of beat them down.
I don't think last year's win, last year's record, any of those things matter at all. This year, I think each season stands alone. I think each game stands alone. I think each practice stands alone, and you have to take advantage of each opportunity when it comes. I don't think any of those things have any bearing. I think maybe from an experience standpoint, the more times your guys play, you get familiar with one another and things like that. It's just like playing the quarterback position. The more times you go out in the field with that experience, it helps you. But besides that, no, I don't think so.
Coach, appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
A follow-up from Jimmy Hines.
James, you appear to have a pretty good tackling team.
Jimmy, you're back, huh?
Yes, I'm back. Can't get rid of me. You appear to have a really good tackling team, and I wonder, is that because of the athletes? Is it an emphasis in practice? Is it fundamentals? What leads to that?
I think it's, we're a fundamentalist program. I think there's schemers and I think there's fundamentalists, and we work every single day very, very hard on our fundamentals of blocking, tackling, running with the ball, catching the ball, all the ingredients that have been the same ingredients, for the game of football for over 100 years. We work on those things every single day, take a lot of pride in them, and I think that helps. I think it's a combination of the fundamentals. I also think it's a combination of how hard we play on defense and how hard we run to the ball, so that if you do miss a tackle, it's not so glaring because there's another 10 other guys that are there to have your back.
You've also forced 16 turnovers in your last 4 games. Is that a lot about determination and anticipation, or what leads to that?
I think it's the same thing. I think it's guys studying film. I think it's footwork. I think it's technique. I think it's, again, I think it's running to the ball. That ball gets tipped up and there's other guys around the ball. You got a chance to make a play on it. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Early in the year, we weren't getting turnovers, and people were saying, do you need to do this or do you need to do that? We didn't do any of those things. We stuck to our plan, and we stuck to the same things that we have done for 3 years. I just believe you keep working hard and keep doing the right things, that eventually it's going to turn for you.
And when you watch Tennessee on tape, what sticks out?
Well, I think they're still loaded, with athleticism and size. I mean, you go back and study Tennessee's recruiting classes for the last 80 years. They've had great recruiting classes. They've brought, really talented people in there. You look on their O-line. Their O-line, I think, is one of the best offensive lines in college football in terms of size, athleticism, experience. I don't know if there's another line in the country with that type of size, athleticism, and experience. Same thing, I'd say, on the D-line. I mean, they got tremendous size. Talk about 6'8", 350 pounds. I think the 2 D-ends are athletic. The Mike linebacker, I think, is as good as anybody has in the country. So I still see a big, strong, physical, athletic team that Tennessee's been known to produce for years and years.